Mm-hmm.
I'd
Okay.
say I'd say at least 100 people, at least 100 people, because that would include not only the team members, not only the relationship managers, but also
Mm.
the leadership as well.
Mm.
So
Okay. That
it's a mixed audience of
makes
seniority
audience, right?
that
Mhm.
starts from just a relationship manager, goes up to a senior vice president.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. And Mehdi, you also mentioned that you kind of like contributed to 60% improvement in productivity metrics. And this you did by, again, improving your relationship manager's productivity and efficiency through new products, right? Could you specify some of the new products that you created and owned? So I understand that one of the examples was introducing the business analysis tool, right? What other products did you introduce to kind of help improve along the scale?
Sure, definitely. So let me try to list out the things that I've worked on so far. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been in a company for the past 6 months only, so there's
Mhm.
only so many tools
Yeah,
that I can
I
work on.
understand. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
So
understand.
one is, of course, business analysis tool, which is the bad. The other one is the relationship assessment, the SharePoint, as well as let me think. So I'd say mainly those three tools,
Mhm.
as
Okay.
well as just managing projects that they come in. Once
Mhm.
we frequently we have projects because we work with the federal government, so a lot of times
Mhm.
we might have regulatory changes. So we have to communicate those regulatory changes to the advisors and make sure that they implement those changes or make account of them, right? I'll give you an example. This is an initiative that this is an ongoing initiative. Um,
Mhm.
Basically, the state of Washington has made some changes to their DBA regulations. DBA stands for doing business as. Basically, your business name. What is your business name,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So they had a few regulatory guidelines on those, and what we did once that came in, we drafted a list of impacted advisors,
Okay.
and basically we worked closely with the relationship managers, made sure that they got in touch with those advisors to let them know about those regulatory changes, and then a lot of times the advisors will come back and they'll ask for regulatory help. So what I will do is that I will bring in our compliance department from the company, and I will set up a meeting between the compliance department and the relationship manager, as well as the advisor, just to get this issue done. We have
Mhm.
a deadline of the end of this month, so I'm working, just to meet that deadline.
Mhm.
Um, so that's one kind of initiative. Another kind of initiative could be just something towards growth, something towards organizational growth.
Mhm.
Basically, we have one of the products that we have is the virtual admin. This
Mhm.
is a tool that automates a lot of the administrative work that you might need. So it's going to save them a lot of money. So we did an initiative where we kind of pushed, in a way, the relationship managers to get referrals for this
Okay.
product for this product with the advisors. And then, we set the KPIs, how many referrals do we want. So we said we want at least one referral per day because you're dealing with
Mhm.
100 advisors. So it wouldn't be too difficult to get that. Plus, you know which advisor might need it the most, so you'll know who to approach. So
Mhm.
we've set up KPIs, we've set up the actual process. This is how we do it. We have a sales consultant for virtual admin. How you do it, how you do the warm introduction, um, how can you offer support to that sales consultant when it comes to things specific to that, to your advisor, things like that. Just trying to really help uh, to grow the virtual admin referrals and get a bit more sales done on that part.
Mhm.
So initiatives like that as well. And there's things such as BAFR, money market sweeps. There's quite a bit of initiatives that I'm tasked with just making sure that we meet our targets, meet our sort of indicators,
Hmm.
and meet our
And
as
these
well.
projects that you worked on, Madi, these are again both for the leadership and for the relationship managers, right? Or
Sorry,
just for the
can you
relationship
come again?
managers? So I said these projects that you work on, these are both for the company leadership and the relationship managers, or just the relationship managers.
It's for both. So different
Mm.
projects would involve different stakeholders.
Mm. Right.
Sometimes the
Okay.
leadership has to be on board as well.
Mm. Mm. And some of the key reports and presentations that you created for your leadership, what areas did those cover?
So
Just overview, a general overview, some of the
over
significant
over
ones.
so from my time with the company, most of the presentations that I've made were presentations that involved cultural change initiatives, that involved the implementation of a new tool, that involved the
Mm.
implementation of a training.
Mm.
So those were the three main things. Depending on the scale of that initiative, um, I would the audience would change. So I'll give you an example. If it's a simple change on the SharePoint website, for example,
Mm.
adding a page, removing a page, removing an element from the site itself, I would just work directly with the VP of Business Consulting only because he's the person who has the ultimate yes or no on this tool. But when it comes to implementing something that is organization wide, something that is a bit larger in scale, like knowledge management, um, something that I'm I want to implement the CKI model, socialization, externalization, combination, and internalization. That method I want to implement it. So this is where I actually involve the executive senior president within the company in this conversation.
Mm.
So I had a conference call recently with a VP, two senior vice presidents, and an assistant vice president, and then I'm having another face-to-face meeting with the executive vice president this week.
Mm. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think this is good information for the LPL financial position. Let's just quickly move on to the next position. You have worked as a data and business analyst, and you have also been the co-founder and partner at Consodium, right? I was thinking of not using the co-founder title on the resume because that might kind of like, throw a red flag, or that might not be very convenient or comfortable for the employers. So what I was thinking was maybe I could say something like consulting partner and slash data and business analyst. How about that?
Um, Honestly, you would know best, but I
Because
am I am the
entrepreneurship
co-founder.
roles, they aren't very much appreciated, right? So I
Yeah, I
mean,
understand.
you can
I
expand on
understand.
this in an interview, but for the sake of the resume, I would suggest not to include these. So we could just maybe say, again, consulting partner if we really have to, and then we could use the data and business analyst
Or
title
or
as
maybe
is.
we can or maybe we can call it strategy advisor.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'd prefer that because this is my company. I am
Hmm.
the co-founder of Concilium. You
Hmm.
know, I was in San Francisco.
Hmm.
San Francisco, it's all about startups, and I was working for a startup sometime, which is Crypto PR Lab
Hmm.
in the
Okay, so
blockchain.
strategic advisor would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I was working with Crypto PR Lab in the blockchain cryptocurrency market, and I saw an
Hmm.
opportunity to open my own practice, my own consulting practice. And honestly, we did make a lot of good strides in there,
Hmm.
but the reason why we didn't continue was because my partner actually had another startup that he was working on, and he was in a way hedging his bet, and his other company got funding, so he just decided to focus on that
Hmm.
company. So Concilium,
Okay.
anyway, it came to a close. But then, in general, I think we did manage to get a lot of successes in there. We did have a lot of potential in this company.
Hmm. Right. So, I would like you to list down these successes, like very briefly, in terms of how you started, what particular challenges did you face, and the results that you gained at the end of the day, even if it was a short stunt. What did you achieve at the end of the day?
Sure thing. So let me give you a little bit of an overview of what we were aiming to do with Concilium. Concilium, it's a consulting firm
Mm-hmm.
aimed at a niche market that is the crypto and blockchain companies. The main
Mm-hmm.
thing that we're doing is that we're helping those startups to raise funds,
Mm-hmm.
mainly through private injections, not ICOs. But we did work with
Okay.
the ICOs a little bit where we helped them out with their PR campaigns, but mainly it was people who were looking for private injections of investment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is mainly what we did. I'd say what set us apart from the competition at this point was the fact that we're working closely with this data analytics company
Mm-hmm.
within the crypto and blockchain space. This analytical company, what they had is that they had um, the biggest database of ICOs and
Mm-hmm.
startups in San Francisco and perhaps in the States. They had around 7,200 projects on their database compared to the next biggest people like CoinDesk and Coin Insider or even Coin Tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Maximum they would have 5,500 companies in their database. So basically,
Right.
we used the data to come up with set of benchmarks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Here are the sort of projects that are likely to work. Here are the projects that are likely not to work. Here's what the investors would consider as a red flag. Here's what the investors would find um, encouraging. We use that knowledge to create some sort of a win-win situation. One, we help you out as a startup to create a better case for your investment.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we did a pre-investment appraisal for the investor. So we actually saved them a lot of time and money when it comes to appraising any investment opportunity that they get.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the overview of what we're trying to do. In
Okay.
terms of successes, within 2 months, we had three projects.
Mm-hmm.
We had a project based in Hong Kong. We had that actually was looking to work with the World Cup 2022 coming up. So it was
Okay.
an exciting project. And then we had another project based as far as I remember, in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
It was a metal trading platform that is based on blockchain and uses utility coins to exchange metal.
Mm-hmm.
The third potential one was in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and we were working closely with them, and we sent them out the contract and everything. That was right
Mm-hmm.
before we actually decided to sort of shut down. And so
Mm-hmm.
we got three projects within like 2 months, and we were invited into an exclusive investors club in San Francisco.
Okay.
Keep in, keep in mind that this is invite only.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this you're talking about a small community of 50 investors who come together once a year, and they have almost no presence online because it's quite secretive. It's a very exclusive club. We got invited to that, and I had my connections in the Middle East because I'm Bahraini, so I had
Mm-hmm.
my connections in Dubai, I had my connections in Saudi, in Bahrain. Um, so I had investors from that region, Dubai, Bahrain, Saudi, the Emirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had the sources of funds. We were invited into exclusive clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I actually did a speech. We did two speeches actually in the Seattle Blockchain Conference in end of 2018. So not too long ago, very recently.
So you kind of like gain some industry recognition, right?
Exactly, exactly. I mean, every person that we met, we met um, entrepreneurs from Africa who came to the conference looking for funding. They're quite
Hmm.
excited to work with us. We met a lot of investors who were, right away they were sold on our business model. They were right away sold